Here we are, ladies and gents. This is a big one. We've got the second semifinal in Warlords 3. Now, right off the bat, reminder, it's a 9-villager start. And because we have Hera playing as the Chinese, which is incredibly rare, I do just need to mention that this Civ is busted in a 9-villager start. Usually, if you start the additional vills, it's going to take some time to get the food income, right? Because Chinese start with 0 food. But when you have 12 vills, there should be 0 seconds of TC idle time. Whereas usually that's about 30. So the vill lead's already there for Hera, and he has Loom. And TaToH will, because of that, view this as a game where he cannot catch up economically and a game where he has to be aggressive. It will change TaToH's approach. Simply the fact that his opponent is Chinese. They are that strong, which is why we haven't seen them. We've seen them banned a lot or picked very first in a lot of these drafts. So, I think Hera, already a player who tends to take the economic lead and basically says, hey, come kill me. He's picked a great Civ to start off the series. And TaToH obviously can't undo the fact he didn't ban that or pick that himself. He's gone for a Civ later on his priority. And I think, listen, TaToH or Hera, neither of these players are going to sweep today. Maybe proven wrong. The level's been extremely high from Hera, and he's won the last couple times he's faced up against TaToH. But the last couple times he's faced against TaToH, it has always been close. I said that I think Hera won that series against Leary 4-2. He looked good. He looked smooth, but he wasn't. Leary wasn't. Leary wasn't perfect in some of his wins. And so Hera, as invulnerable as many players might be in 2024, I think will actually open up some opportunities here for TaToH today. And of course, both of these players, whoever wins here, very familiar with the player that's waiting for them in the finals, and the Viper. So pretty much guaranteed to have a crazy final for Warlords 3. So this map's usually about scouts, and both players will know that. Hera just staying home and pushing in his deer, and TaToH the same. Gurjaras start with the berries underneath the TC. TaToH already took that, so that's good for him. And Hera's going to click up here. 23 population. He's going to be 45 seconds later to the next stage, but will maintain a 3-villager lead, essentially. And has all the cheap upgrades with the Chinese here. So this is going to be all about TaToH needing to be aggressive here, in my opinion. And he's going to need to do something different. I hate to open up a game and just be like, hey, this is that crazy. But this is one of those instances where I do feel like TaToH is immediately in a position where he needs to open with something that's slightly unorthodox. So going to gold here. Doesn't look like TaToH's going to make militia, but seems like he's going to plan on opening with archers. And man, Hera already kind of known for walling a decent amount at times. So you can't really full wall on this map. He's got a freaking wood wall. These two wood lines somehow connected to each other here. So it's actually going to be pretty nice if Hera can get some eco back here. It'll be nice and safe. TaToH sees Hera. Hera tries to kill the camel there. That was sick, actually. Dropped that gate, and now the camel's a bit weaker for TaToH as he finds out where Hera's located. Hera doesn't know what TaToH's going for yet, and he also is planning on going archers here. But TaToH's going to be on the archer numbers a little bit faster here, so that's a positive for him. And TaToH will also see that Hera's doing this, and Hera won't know what TaToH's going for yet. Just catches a glimpse of the mining camp. Looking around, we'll see the berries. I think he just wants to make sure this isn't stone. Against TaToH, I would always confirm that. And now he sees the range, so he'll know it will be archers here for TaToH. Again, Hera has simply collected more resources. And he will continue to do so because of that villager lead. The goal in these games is to move out and kill villagers, right? Not much TaToH could have done before, the whole draft and to prevent this situation. And look what Hera has decided. Hera says, okay, so he's going to be on archers faster. He's going one range. I need to catch up in archers, so I'll just drop range number 2. You don't often see players drop the second range these days, but I think considering the circumstances, Even if your farms are a bit delayed, let's say, because you add the second range, I think it's worth it, so you keep your villagers alive. TaToH will drop the blacksmith first, which means he can get fletching a bit faster. That's what you sacrifice. You sacrifice the fletching upgrade if you go for the second range in Hera's position. And Hera loses his spears, and TaToH looking to move forward now. And Hera waiting on the front. Hera's scout is coming back, and he's looking for that army right now. The scout's going to check the front, but he seems to have a sense that TaToH wouldn't come to the obvious choice. And it feels very natural that TaToH would have moved this direction now. Hera will see the camel, gets a good volley on the camel, and gets a decent volley on the archers. And just like that, Hera's like, all right, I was going to be behind in numbers. I'm not behind in numbers anymore. And now Hera's going to need the fletching upgrade. And it's just like the timings on this are just so clean for Hera. It's the perfect civ for a pro player. The in NAC, it was also a 9-villager start, and they had Chinese in the tournament, but they had Chinese start with minus 100 wood. Sorry, minus 100 food. Like, negative food, which is really rare, right? To kind of balance it out. It is a big thing, this Chinese eco, that TaToH needs to be aggressive against. But oh my goodness, what is happening here? Hera didn't expect TaToH to keep coming towards his base. And this is a nice opportunity for TaToH. Meanwhile, Hera's coming towards his base. So Hera needs to get kills as he is taking losses here. He's going to lose at least 2 vills, I would say. Well, he lost 1, so I'm stupid. And meanwhile, TaToH ends up losing 1 as well. And is pushed off the gold. I think moments like that are good for TaToH, though. I think this has made this awkward. And he made it messy against Hera, which is what he's going to need today. And TaToH trying to defend his eco. These fills are running away and hiding. TaToH's done a good job to defend here. Hera's done an excellent job to defend as well, though. Beautiful stuff. I mean, his farming eco's looking fine. His archer number's looking good. TaToH will get some decent value here. At least I thought he would kill 1 more archer, but 76 KD here. As Hera's still able to run away. TaToH did shift into range number 2. TaToH's villagers stayed alive on the hunt. He's got a mix of archers and skirms. And now Hera has a decision to make. Because if it was simply skirms, it would easily be able to justify mixing in some scouts here. But TaToH has a group of skirms, and he has a group of archers, which makes it more difficult for Hera. And Hera's archers are getting completely picked off here by TaToH. And now TaToH has the superior army count. You look at TaToH's food eco as well. TaToH's got 11 farms. He's got villagers on hunt. He's got villagers on the berries. And he's heading forward to Hera's eco. And it's going to happen again, guys. It's going to happen again where they're just going to pass each other. Neither of them have their scouts right now. I think both players might need to consider a tower on their gold if the game continues like this. I mean, honestly, TaToH doesn't want to reveal to Hera that he's here until he has all of his army. And TaToH might be thinking, where is he then? If he's here, like if his army is not at home, where on earth is this guy? Hasn't killed the Vill. Let's see how fast TaToH reacts here. It is awfully quiet over here, TaToH. You have to be paying attention at home. And Hera is here, but Hera is here with archers. And while it was a fast enough reaction from TaToH, ooh, and a nice quick wall, that's still some good damage there from Hera. Hera did go for the stable for the reasons we mentioned. TaToH has archers in the group, but there's not a lot of archers in the group. Hera will look to pick those off. And it's been an even game, but a game where Hera has collected almost 1,000 more resources now. It started at like 200, worked its way up to 500. Now is almost at 1,000. Because he's done such a good job at keeping his eco flowing and maintaining the lead he started with here. The skirms could kill these archers here. And TaToH now knows. And this is kind of what Doubt did the other day. TaToH's just like, okay, this army needs to stay away from my base. So I'm going to dive. I'm going to kill as many archers as possible. And I'm going to keep these archers on the back. So these archers could actually keep me competitive against the scouts. Oh my god, TaToH's micro. TaToH's micro here is actually really good considering the circumstances. Like, at least he killed all the archers. And Hera's scouts are now going to be in the back corner and not headed over towards TaToH's base. Tiger is giving Hera the assist right now. Hera suddenly very fond of tigers, if he wasn't before. But while that is a full clear up from Hera, and while his army is probably going to be stronger here, I do feel like that moment for TaToH might actually be best case scenario. This is not necessarily best case scenario. The fact that he has 1,000 food and not quite enough gold to click up is a really painful situation. That's the reasoning for the market. He wants to click up to Castle Age. Yep. Hera. Dude, when he saw Chinese in the draft, he probably was like, what? Why was that not banned? What in the world? I was surprised. They both had 2 early picks. Like, both players could have picked it in their first 2 picks that were hidden pick. And neither player did. And then Hera had the first pick after that and went for Chinese right away. TaToH does have wheelbarrow. Hera does not. But if you think of the army that Hera's going to have in the next stage, he'll have the archers to upgrade to crossbowmen. He's actually got a tasty little safe gold here in the back. And TaToH doesn't really have an army that... Like, this army doesn't really translate well into an early Castle Age push. It's just like, you know, it's a defensive move, maybe. Maybe he could make a Shravamsha Rider or 2 with the Gurjaras and try and get into Hera's eco. But Hera's economy, his archers are inside of his TC right now, by the way. Hera's economy is set. And normally, Hera is not going to have any problems from here. He picked the Chinese, but he played them perfectly in this situation. I think the second range was an interesting play there. Because even with the numbers, TaToH was taking some pretty decent fights. And Hera brings the scout forward. He's going to check this out and see what TaToH's going to be up to. And TaToH's going to send this tiny little army forward. And by the time he gets there, he's going to probably want to turn around and go home. Crossbow and knights. 2 stable knights, 2 ranged crossbows. Hera can't be broken with this. You need something extreme if you're TaToH. You need like extreme defense and hope you can defend from it with TCs, or you need full army numbers. But I mean, imagine if someone just handed TaToH 1,500 resources right now. He could spend an awful lot, but he's at the limit. I'm not sure what to suggest to him with Hera's position. Hera's playing a different game right now, guys. He doesn't know this army's here. That's something. It's going to be a skirm raid from TaToH. He doesn't know that Hera is going to have those knights. But TaToH needs some defense at home, which is why he's adding a siege workshop. And now he sees the crossbows. The siege workshop! Micro! TaToH! Oh, no! Oh, siege workshop denied. Hera does lose a villager over here. TaToH's over on this side, trying to get some raids in, but the knights should clear up this army. And TaToH, his eco is in shambles here, guys. Just absolute shambles. Hera won't lose a single unit over here. He's camping on the gold, and the GG's called. And listen, Hera wins the first game. TaToH's going to look at that, though, and he's going to say, okay, it's a civ loss. Like, again, take nothing away from Hera. Hera executed it absolutely perfectly, but TaToH will say, okay, I just don't know what I can do. I shouldn't have allowed that in the draft. And that's one of the rare situations where I'm going to speak like that throughout the day. Hera knew to start off the day that Chinese would give him that victory, and he played it perfectly there. I really like how Hera went double range. These guys both made very few mistakes, but it was just like the resources collected and the amount that Hera was able to do with those resources was just perfect there. That eco's unbelievable. And on the back of the 9 villager start, they're even stronger than a standard game. Okay, so to repeat the situation here, folks. Game number 2. It's TaToH's choice on what map we see next. And he goes to Hera's home maps, picks Arabia, and he also is using his last civilization pick. Very interesting stuff here from TaToH. TaToH's going to be cooking. But as Margugu said the other day, sometimes players cook too much and they burn the food. So we'll see what the thinking is here from TaToH. I could see the TaToH being a comfort pick for him. TaToH, pretty much the first one to use Step Lancers in general in the competitive meta. That was 2 years ago now. Did do that with the TaToH. TaToH are great when fighting on top of hills. TaToH, if they get their sheep, have the extra food on the sheep. And then, of course, Cav Archers, Thumb Rings free. They are a good Arabia Civ. They absolutely are. Now, Mezzo, on the other hand, could be pretty beastly. And game number 2, Hera's gone for the only other Civ where you could start the game with an extra Vil. Explain the minor difference between Mayans and the 9 Vil start versus the standard start here. You start with 4 Vils and an Eagle and a standard start and are immediately pop capped. So you would have to research Loom and just build your houses. In the 9 Vil start, you start with 10 Vils and you are not immediately pop capped. So you maintain, you have that extra villager working in the Dark Age. T90, did you punch any bear in Alaska? I did. I actually punched 2 of them to the death, but I had Loom, so it was okay. I had 1 HP, but I just went to the monastery afterwards and healed up. So it was a little tricky because the one bear got the hill, and I had to quick wall, but I ended up surviving, thankfully, to be here casting for you guys. So the map is pretty good for Hera as far as the woodlines are concerned. He talked about his maps the other day, and he said that he felt like, you know, his... I forget, actually, if he said... his map was awkward or not, but I do remember he talked about sometimes on the gen you've got some resources on the back that you might not want there. He might prefer the gold in the back, but I think this is still fine. TaToH's map, berries more exposed, gold more towards the back. Free wood lines. I mean, we'd really be having to look at small details here to really compare the maps. I do think long term that Hera could have gold issues with a Civ that pretty much needs to rely on gold, because this gold's very far forward. This gold, of course, is naturally forward. And then this gold over here, which he hasn't found yet, also pretty far away. But TaToH's resources, I think, a little bit harder to wall. And Hera loves to wall up. And Mayans have cheap walls. I could see a wall here and a wall here from Hera at some point. So I actually remember... Can someone check for me, please? NAC information. NAC, TaToH against Hera. No, never mind. Don't check. I remember. It was Viper against Hera on Arabia. So 9 Vil starts, right? And Hera was Mayans and Viper was TaToHs. And at that event, you're like sitting in the back room and hanging out, right? And I'm always speaking my mind, of course. And I was like, why are you guys picking TaToHs? And Viper's like, they're good, man. They're good. Watch. And then TaToH started to lose. And I was like, why are you picking TaToHs? And then Viper made fun of TaToH. And then TaToH started to win. And Viper said, see? This is why we're picking TaToHs. And then TaToH lost. But I think TaToHs are good Arabia Civ. I also think they're good with matchups. Like, they've got great camels and cav archers, which can be good against Civs like Franks or Malians. So it's not just... I think you match up decent enough against archer civs and pretty solid against civs that will usually go for stable units. I would have predicted that Hera would have gone Chinese Land Madness and Mayans Arabia. I don't think TaToH is going to be real disappointed by seeing this. Now, if TaToH wins this, he eliminates a really good civ from Hera, ties it up 1-1, and he eliminates one of Hera's home maps. This would be huge. You lose this game, you're down 2-0, and it's going to be tough to build up some confidence over time. And TaToH adding that stable. Knows exactly what Hera's up to at this point. Saw the barracks, saw the range, saw the gold, and is looking for that eagle and will miss it, guys. I think he was definitely looking for that. That eagle was in his base. He had scouts out. That could have been a kill. Hera's really going to be happy with that, and this is not going to be the most exciting thing to see if you're TaToH, who wants to play Arabia, and Hera says, hey, bro, welcome to my arena. Absolutely should do it. You start with the extra Vil. You've got cheap walls. The Mayan civs, the Mayan civ is kind of built around these bonuses. And Hera's just taking no risks. He's waiting for that pressure to come from TaToH. And TaToH will arrive and see the walls. And now this makes TaToH's job very difficult. Because there's no way for him to damage Hera until Castle Age. But he also still has to respect Hera's army. Because Hera's could always send a whole bunch of army at him. Now, what Hera doesn't know is that TaToH already has skirms. So he's thinking that he could potentially move out. Hera, if he sees the skirms, should honestly never leave his archery range. It is going to be the lamest feudal age ever. Because, you know, it's not a whole lot of excitement compared to, say, Hera's games against Leary, where there was a whole lot more army. But I think Hera could be taking some risks if he were to move out. Now, he is pulling the skirms out of position here. But if the opponent has skirms, you might just want to stay in your base here. Now, I would say TaToH's going to be feeling a lot of pressure right now. He kills the spear. He kills the eagle. Guys, what would you do if you're TaToH's position? Do you make more skirms and do you get upgrades right now? Think about it. Because this flag could mean one archer for all you know. And you don't know if Hera's going to invest into upgrades. Yeah, a lot of people are saying go up. Yeah, a lot of people are going to say, I'm not going to get upgrades and I'm not going to make more skirms because someone in Hera's position is never going to make army and actually be aggressive. And then Hera hops out. And Hera's like, surprise, bro. Actually, I am very much going to be aggressive here. Nice shot from TaToH, though. To fall back. And this is actually not a situation that TaToH be too disappointed by. Like, if Hera wants to party, if he wants to dance, TaToH's all over that, man. Plus, I mean, TaToH's from Spain, right? He could definitely dance way better than Hera. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of things. But, you know, we'll find out. If I'm in Spain for Red Bull, we'll find out how good people are in Spain with dancing. Certainly better than me. So, Hera does kind of what I thought he was going to do initially. And he says, okay, I'm just going to sit behind my walls and play it safe here. And yeah, the plan is going to be crossbow. TaToH has to get to gold, which he's doing now. I love how TaToH is house walling this. Because this is the most vulnerable area. Houses will give him more protection. And he's going to try to get whatever damage he can right now. And he probably won't kill Vils. But if Hera has the archers around, he could maybe snipe archers. Or TaToH could at least harass the wood line. And damage some of the Vils here. But TaToH knows that Hera is here. And honestly, like, if TaToH gets through, Hera has some real problems. And the houses will go down awfully slow. Very confused as to why TaToH's not attacking this house. Yeah, now Hera, he keeps trying to kill these scouts. And he wants to click up. And now he has to repair the house. And he can't get too close with the archers. And he's going to place more houses. Okay. I think what TaToH's doing is fine. The other option would be what someone said and try and idle the farms. But you're forcing your opponent to build buildings and re-wall behind. And what he's doing is fine. So, Hera's going to be up. He's been producing archers this whole time. TaToH's scouts were never going to break through there. And TaToH needs these skirms. These skirms are critical. But you have to worry, now that you don't have the scout map control, that Hera could always mix in some eagles for the skirms. Hera's collected 700 more resources here. Resources last longer with the Mayans. He started with the extra Vil. Guys, what is it? A villager brings in roughly like 30 resources per minute. It's 15 minutes. I don't know. Someone do the math there, but also Hera's just so efficient. He's super efficient with the way he sets up his eco. Also 4 seconds of TC idle time. So he's actually up 2 Vils because TaToH had quite a bit of idle time. All right, so Hera's going to move forward. TaToH, he's playing a risky game staying forward. But he doesn't want to allow Hera to chill. He must expect that Hera's going to be coming this way. And Hera hasn't been here since Feudal Age. And Hera is going to see houses. He's going to see markets. He sees a lot. But what he does see, and it's a reason to stay here, is he sees TaToH's gold. I don't know if he can actually harass the gold with crossbow. But he also sees the wood line. He's getting his upgrades now. And to my surprise, TaToH's still here with his army. I would maybe be bringing my skirmishers home to try and collapse on this. He feels like he's fine. Elite Skirm and Bodkin Arrow now for TaToH. And we also see a Cav Archer in queue for him. Notice, though, TaToH, no stone, guys. So he sold all of his stone. He feels like it's not a natural situation to boom. And Hera already dropping TC number 2 as these Eagles push back the skirmishers here. I mean, Hera plays with such inevitability, right? Like, it just always feels like if the opponent doesn't pressure him properly, he's going to take full advantage. But, you know, as I look at TaToH's situation, I'm feeling like it's so awkward for him at the moment, right? Some of it just because of how good Hera's been able to wall up. Some of it maybe because of the Civ bonuses at play here. I don't know, but this game has been all Hera. 11-3. Big eco lead for him, and it will continue. And even, like, killing those skirms is just because he had enough eagles in the mix. It's just one range, one barracks, and then economy, economy, economy. Now TC number 3 as well for Hera. TaToH has just has not had enough to threaten Hera here. Like, game 1 was one thing. This game, though, it just feels like Hera's always got the eco. And TaToH just couldn't break him. The walls were up so early. Super smart from Hera. Just wall up. Wall up and play safe and play the boom game. So TaToH needs a lot of army to pay off now. He's investing a lot more into the army than Hera is realistically. He's getting ballistics. And he will have Cav Archers. The Cav Archers can help against the Eagles. And if he could maybe get a forward workshop up over at Hera's base at some point, he could start to pressure these TCs. TaToH's going crazy upgrades here, guys. He's going to have the attack. He's going to have the armor from the blacksmith. And this is a position where Hera's eco has been his main focus, and he will need some more army soon. I don't think crossbow's it. Crossbow you could still use against the Cav Archers, so probably a mix works. But if you're seeing skirms, eagle feels like the perfect play. Hera has said, I'm going to boom. Good luck stopping me. And finally, TaToH finds a villager kill. That's nice. And TaToH also knows that he might need more units on the field here if Hera's going to be going for another barracks. TaToH will mine stone to eventually get the second TC. His eco is really not comparable to Hera's right now. And Hera's eco is just flying if he's left untouched. But another villager goes down. Some inefficiencies for Hera as he gets pressured. And TaToH will meet up his Cav Archers with his skirms, and Hera still can't complete this barracks. Like, I feel like normal humans need to probably mix in some siege here. I could see a Scorpion or two being really helpful for Hera. But you very rarely see him depend on the siege. He's typically going to go with, like, the standard military units. Knights, crossbow, I guess in this case, eagle. Because at this point, his eco is flying. And he feels like he needs to get that mass up. Still 3 TCs. Hera's got so much nice space. It was such an easy wall off for him with the way these wood lines were positioned. And he knew he needed to protect the gold, which he did. And it's been no problem since. Can TaToH break Hera here? Still full army coming forward, even adding a third range. Hasn't really been able to find the best of fights. That's the worry. This is taking some time here. I think on a more, like, open, aggressive game, TaToH would maybe feel a little bit more free. Hera getting +2 armor now for his eagles. No siege from TaToH. Second TC for TaToH. Will get sheep from that TC. We'll probably see the third as well. And TaToH's killed 5 vills. Hera just with his crossbows inside of the town center. He knows they can't help in the fights. He's just healing them up. And the TC also shoots arrows if you do this. So he's just kind of chilling out, hops out of the TC now that he has +2 armor, and Hera's going to try and take the fight. Now, if the Cav Archers aren't in the picture, TaToH's completely dead. Cav Archers are so important here. And it feels like Hera's got enough. 20 villager lead for him. Relics coming into his base as well. He's going to have 2 relics. A 4th TC going up on the map. And it's just fully armored eagles, full attack crossbows, and Hera is advancing up the hill against Tatars. Out-microing some of the skirmisher volleys, and once skirms are out of the picture for TaToH, this game might just be over, guys. So far, I want to say so far the series hasn't been as advertised, but how is it being advertised, right? I was remembering the really competitive sets that these two have had. Could have easily been advertised as a series where Hera was the big favorite, and Hera's just all over him right now. I'm finding it tough for TaToH to find any... Like, I'm finding it tough to find any ideas for TaToH. There's honestly nothing from Game 1 and Game 2 where I could think that TaToH could have played much differently here. I don't know. It just... Hera's been so economic and maybe, you know, gotten the walls down. Maybe it's the Mayans Chinese thing with the extra Vil. I mean, it certainly wasn't game number 1. And TaToH is playing a normal, you know, opening and counter style. It's crazy. I think Hera at this point, now that he's seeing a lot of the skirms go down, might just shift fully into eagles. Still needs to be careful, but I think eagles might be the play from here, forcing TaToH into maybe some step lancers. And TaToH dropping town center number 3 right now. And 4th town center now for Hera. I mean, it's already up. And he's actually going to get Elite Skirm. Elite Skirm's actually really smart. That is the safe move, probably, if your opponent is relying on the Cav Archers, right? Just booming, man. Just a boom fest. Hera is kind of able to play the game. Like, right now, he's playing the game like there's one person controlling the economy and someone else controls the military, you know? It feels like a co-op game where, you know, everything's kind of expanding perfectly. And then the micro is really good, right? Whereas, you know, doing both, usually pretty difficult task. And he's been playing life on easy mode ever since he got those walls down. I think the thing that Hera could get surprised by here would be army numbers. But he's added military buildings now to where he might probably, he may actually have more military than TaToH here in a second. Hera up 30 Vils. Hera with 2 relics. Hera soon having the stone to make a castle. And Hera will drop the castle very defensively, which is a little surprising. I thought maybe he'd want to drop it here, but that's a vulnerable area where TaToH could be coming through. At this point, Hera's going to be able to build more castles, so before it was like wall up your vulnerabilities and stay safe. Now it's castle up vulnerabilities and eventually stay safe, and then eventually it's win the game with army. Essentially how he's viewing the game right now. Hera went to TaToH's base like once this game, right? I think one time. TaToH's been coming to Hera's base all the time, like they're best buds, you know? Trying to be as aggressive as possible and break Hera, but Hera's clicked up. And TaToH needs to get this castle up. Probably needs to click up to Imp as well, and somehow needs to catch up in the Vil count right now. Because the eco situation is just getting worse for him. Hera may be thinking about that next castle spot. Hera still not moving out. Might not want to take any risks because of TaToH's mobility. Also, might just come back to the fact that he feels he has the lead, right? Like, the score at the bottom right tells you you've completely outboomed your opponent. He doesn't want to take any risks right now. And Cav Archers from TaToH find an eagle kill, find another eagle kill. That's good damage for TaToH. Hera's skirms are out of position. But Hera's going to have skirms of his own. He'll want to save these eagles, and TaToH will be forced to run away. And TaToH can't really focus on things like relics. He can't focus on tech switches. You know, he simply doesn't have as much to spend right now. And Hera getting The third relic now. This has been the dream start for a series. I don't know if I've, even with a Hera Viper, I don't know if I've seen a start to a series look more perfect than this. Right? Chinese on Land Madness game 1. Mayans and be able to get the full wall up and play safe game 2. TaToH's going to be feeling like, man, oh man. I've really been in a tough position here. But, you know, he picked Arabia against Hera way after he went one down, right? This is Hera's home map, so probably going for the momentum swing, hoping the maps were a little bit worse, maybe. But GG's called, and yeah, I do think, like, Hera is just too good if he gets a situation where he gets the eco lead, and then where he can have the easy breezy full wall, right? He's too good. The Mayans, I think the superior Civ here, and, like, it's hard for me with how consistent Hera plays to see this and think that, you know, Hera's going to really have any problems. You know, TaToH, he wanted an open and aggressive game, and he saw Hera's base and said, well, we now have to defend from archers the whole game. And that, of course, led into defending from eagles, and Hera just expanded that eco perfectly there. I do think, you know, the rest of the games for Hera should be much harder. It really does feel as though he hasn't been troubled so far. But the confidence must be sky high, man. 34,000 resources collected there from Hera. And the KD was dead even. Obviously, that's more than fine if Hera's going to make it to the Imperial Age that much faster and be able to dominate, which he would have. TaToH just called it because this army alone would have killed him. All right. So, game 1 and 2. Hera had an early economy lead, and he made the most of it. That's the way to simplify it, made it look way too easy. He has yet to really receive any significant amount of damage, but in those games, if he didn't take damage, he had the better Civ, right? He had the better economy. He would have more resources coming in. That is no longer the case now. I would say Civ-wise, at least maybe map-wise, because both maps are pretty brutal in general on this map, I think that this is going to be a tougher game here for Hera. And TaToH, he's a great player. I don't think he could beat Hera 4 times in a row, so he needs this one. And also, his spirit might be broken if he doesn't win this one, right? It would be a tough task to come back from 3-0 down. So TaToH's gone for the Armenians. Now, Armenians have a great economy with their wood and gold upgrades, making them one of the best water civs. They're also great if you can open up with galleys, which we tend to see a lot here. And then the Vikings have great economy, just kind of in general because of free wheelbarrow and handcart. And then Vikings also have great galleys. And yeah, so I expect a galley war. Now, the other aspect of the map is you have to plan on losing your resources here. And so eventually you need to transport. And so early, in fact, usually it's worth it to bring villagers over here for your second lumber camp or, you know, to take deer or gold or whatever. So since they start with the transport, both players have actually brought their scout here to the island. And they're both scouting right now. But we had a game yesterday where a player assumed his opponent was on the wrong island. He didn't scout his opponent was there. He went archers on the wrong island. I have no experience with that. Pretty laughable, actually, that someone would actually make that mistake. And in the end, Winchester actually did a pretty good job. It was because his opponent didn't know the archer range was there. The archers were a sneak attack. Damn, that's what I was going with, guys, all those years ago. That was the thing. Yeah, TaToH's going to bring some vills. And the expectation here, from my perspective, is fast feudal galleys. Guys, I don't even know when it was, but it was over the last, like, couple months, at some point this year, okay? Occasionally, you know, I'll load up Reddit, and my notifications will be, will be a comment that someone left. And you would think it would be on the Age of Empires 2 subreddit, but no, it's usually like if someone sees a video about salmon or something, people will be like, you/T90 official, just so I get notified. There was one where there was, I'm not kidding, like an archer competition of some kind, and it was next to a shoreline, right? Like it wasn't even clear if it was an island. I don't even know what it was. And some random person tagged me and said, you know, UT90 official, they're with archers on his island. I gotta see if I can find the post. It was just so, like, I don't know why their brain went to that, but I saw it, and of course I didn't respond. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction, but I guess now maybe if they're out there, they have it. So, well played, guys. So, mule cart's kind of nice here, right? Because you could take the deer to the mule cart, and then you could also shift around to the gold or the wood. 2 docks from Hera. It will be galleys. And what is Hera's uptime? What? Wait, is TaToH going fast castle? Did TaToH not know his rhino was there? Hold on a second. Was his rhino hidden? What happened? Was this intentional? That's a crazy uptime from Hera. Crazy build order. And, I mean, galleys could be really strong here, right? So, if he gets the head start here to the galley production, he's not going to complain at all. TaToH, it feels like a fast castle to me. For there to be that big a difference in the uptimes, it would almost have to be somewhat planned here, I think, from TaToH. And TaToH's scout saw that Hera is here. Okay, now, I'm excited for this because I told, like, I don't know, 2,000 people when I was casting Doubt versus MBL a month ago in a show match for this tournament. I said, I think this is not good. It's not good to go galleys here. And I said that because there's not a lot of benefit to winning water early because the fishing eco is kind of rough. But everyone has been going galleys from what I've seen. TaToH, though, is not. And he is definitely going fast castle. And I have not seen this in the main event yet. That's the thing, is everyone else has just been going galleys. But TaToH on the gold. Hera, he says, I send everything onto wood, I send everything onto gold. But he might be a little confused with the fact that he didn't see TaToH was in feudal age until now. And I think he must know something's up. This is smart from Hera to recognize TaToH, if he wanted to go galleys, could have been up as fast as me. He must be doing some land shenanigans here. I think he also saw TaToH scout around, so he knows TaToH's probably here, and he's going to wall up. It's a really good decision from Hera to do that. You need to do that. And what you need to do in the meantime is go kill TaToH's fish. And he's looking. He's like, ooh, TaToH's going to be sneaky and hide fish. And he will actually find the transport ship, which is kind of nice. TaToH's like, huh? But Hera's still looking for the fish. He still hasn't found the fish. And Hera's like, where are the fish? This doesn't make any sense to me. What is happening? Hera still doesn't see the fish, guys. That's a pretty big deal, right? Because Hera might double back here and think that maybe TaToH's down here. He hasn't seen the fish there either. TaToH's fish are ninja fish. They're hiding. Hera has, in the meantime, by the way, not added more fishing ships. He did add a spearman, though, just so he could scout this area to see what TaToH's doing. So Hera's going to have all those galleys. But he will stop TaToH from using this transport now, which is pretty nice. Thing that TaToH's going to be able to do, though, is TaToH will be able to use fire galleys now and upgrade them if he can afford it anyways. But scout is critical. You cannot lose your scout if you're on point here today. And TaToH, oh, man. We understand that he's distracted. But losing that scout, now that Hera has a spearman, might change TaToH's plans. Hera could have archers for all he knows. And I would be feeling extremely paranoid right now if I were TaToH, that Hera might be doing something like that. Information is key at this level, right? But if TaToH could trade his scout for 3 fishing ships, I don't know. I think TaToH might immediately town center here, which is what I feel the fast castle accomplishes on this map. And he actually is going to drop a monastery first. Or, excuse me, a fortified church. Notice TaToH tossing away a couple fires randomly. It's been Hera's day so far. It was the perfect start. And it has been sloppy from TaToH by the very high standards I have for him. This, for example, this is not something you would ever expect. Engaging against the galleys is not the play. Or not the plan, sorry, before you get the war galley upgrade. It is simply the multitasking, right? TaToH's looking at so many different things. But he does get the relic instantly. And he will make a warrior priest to collect the second relic. And TaToH is also going to go for a Siege Workshop to pressure Hera now, where Hera's in this tiny little cute little bubble. But Hera still hasn't clicked up to Castle Age. I don't think TaToH playing water long-term is important here. I think what's important is the fire galleys snipe the fish that Hera does have. He is going to try for a demo here, so get your emotes ready, guys. Hera, don't clump up your galleys against TaToH, bro. He's not looking right now because he's killing TaToH's fish. TaToH's going to return the favor, though. That's big to find Hera's fish. And then Hera, you could tell, just looked over here, saw that, and said, I'm out of here. Warrior Priest is a monk that can fight but not convert. They're not devout enough yet, so they're not able to use their powers. They could pick up relics, though, which TaToH already did, and they have 11 attack. And they honestly look sick. I'll zoom in on them when they swing. But Hera, he doesn't have any farms. And he's heavy on stone, thinking about a potential castle. He did get rocked by a demo there. He got completely destroyed by a demo there, guys. Watch this. TaToH comes in. Hera's distracted, right? And it's the perfect demo for TaToH. Boom! Exactly what he wanted. And, yeah, Hera's got some real problems over here right now. TaToH will also get to see that Hera's going double stable. So he should understand that Hera's going to push back immediately in Castle Age with something. But right now, Hera's not really collecting a lot of resources here. And he doesn't have fishing ships. Well, sorry, excuse me, he has 2. So it is a bit awkward for him. Hera's going to add another warrior priest here. And he would love to kill that scout. And he's going to kill that scout. So Hera doesn't have a scout to help with monks. He's going to go for light cav now. Light cav still do have a bonus damage against warrior priests. But in my experience, warrior priests with armor actually do pretty good against light cav. So TaToH could actually go full warrior priest here. I don't think it'd necessarily be that bad. Also, still keeping Hera busy with the fire ships, but honestly, Hera's got enough galleys to probably still be okay there. And TaToH will be happy with the relics. He'll be happy with some of the harassment. Hera's slightly ahead with resources collected, but I wouldn't say significantly. And Hera looking around now to see what TaToH's doing. TaToH knows. He should know there's going to be light cap. Like, I would say that TaToH really shouldn't be taking any engagements or taking any risks, rather, if he knows there could be light cav out in the field. I would expect TaToH to only move out if he felt like he could win the fight. And, well, here he is. Viking light cav, not the strongest. Hera hoping to engage anyways. And let's see the fight. TaToH is going to run back to his church and whoop. Oh, man. I mean, Hera will be happy with killing one and killing the scorpion, but pretty crazy how you can just garrison in those things. If you couldn't garrison, I mean, that's just such a huge swing there for Hera. Obviously, TaToH would never play it like that if you couldn't be inside of it. Smart play. Also, it's kind of interesting is TaToH has built a TC on this side, and Hera has built a TC on this side. This game already, like, things are flying here, right? It's so much more difficult, at least, you know, for both players and maybe even for me to cast. There's so many more dynamic options here compared to what we saw in Game 1 and Game 2. Hera just passing. He actually, for a moment there, almost followed TaToH. And I think he's going to try and send light cav to TaToH's starting island, which is super smart because TaToH is not expecting that. That is sick. We'll see how much damage it does, because he could run directly into the TC, but it's going to be awkward for TaToH, and TaToH reacts. But guys, like, this is a headache, and that's what all Hera's hoping to achieve. Obviously, he loves some villager kills, but if he's able to just harass TaToH and force the idle time, I mean, my goodness, guys, look at the idle time for TaToH. And he's going to drop a church here, and oh, it just feels so awkward to be TaToH yet again. Oh, that's so much, guys. Like, worker efficiency last minute. Keep an eye on it, bottom left. This 4 light cav raid has idled half of TaToH's economy, it feels like. The TaToH's going to move forward now. Keep in mind, TaToH does not see that Hera is here, and Hera does not see that TaToH is here. If Hera builds an outpost here, we might immediately see a castle as a follow-up. Monks and warrior priests. And TaToH's going to... He converts the Vils, but now he can't convert the light cav. Hera here with armor and also forging for the light cav. Should be able to clear up everything here. Beautiful micro as well. Like, that light cav is pulling away the warrior priests from different targets. And it's a full clear for Hera. And now, like, as TaToH deletes the Vils, he doesn't even let Hera kill them. Now, I think the final nail in the coffin might be is if Hera can build an outpost here and recognize the situation. Because he has to decide in a castle spot. A castle here would be sick. TaToH also needs to decide in a castle spot. And he knows about the TC. Oh, man. Can you guys... Wait a second. What does that... Can you tell? Can you tell it's about to be a doubt off? It's about to be a doubt off. Hera sees that. Hera doesn't see it! Hera doesn't see it! Oh, I mean, listen, we expect perfection from this guy, right? So I'm thinking, you know, outpost, he's going to see it. He doesn't see it. Hera has 2 of his TCs here. And things are about to get extremely awkward for him. Now, could get extremely awkward for TaToH too, though. Because Hera is going to drop a castle here. So he chooses to build a castle here. TaToH's castle goes up. And so now Hera is going to lose this TC. But TaToH's going to lose his relics. And TaToH, does he see this is happening? He does. Wow. I agree with a comment in the chat. This map is incredibly difficult. It's also incredibly hard for me to break it down because usually with this type of economy on a water map, it's like castle drop and get up to imp for trips. Hera's eco is in a position where he could get up to imp for trebs. So he probably wants to drop a castle here for the trebs, but a lot of that eco, which was so good for Hera, was actually here. So... I don't know. It gets really difficult to kind of know what to do here. Hera even having to sell some of his stone just so he can click Imp. But Imp is absolutely the right play from him. And TaToH is going to drop a castle here. And so TaToH probably will prioritize Imp as well. So it's going to be both players going up. And I'd say their food economies, their safest food economies are really going to be at their starting TC. And TaToH obviously has the starting TC eco there as well. So... Guys, I really like how Hera has maintained some focus on the water, and he hasn't completely lost his navy. Now, TaToH's tried to demo him once or twice, but these galleys become way more valuable now once you can get more upgrades and patrol the shoreline. TaToH, I don't really think has an option. I think he has to win the Treb War first, and then from there, could maybe come back on water if things start to go well on land. Could maybe try a Draman, but I think it'd be a pretty foolish move to make a Draman if you're TaToH if you don't have navy to protect it. Wow. So Hera is going to double castle here. So he could definitely win this area. And then give up this area? What did these people do to you, Hera? It's an interesting choice. I thought that it would be like one castle on both sides. Well, I mean, let's look at how many Vils are here for Hera. He's got 7. He's got 28. I don't know. It's tricky. And it's all instinct, right? It's really difficult to really be too critical of the decision because Hera wants to win an area, and he's definitely going to win the north. The north is a little bit bigger. Nice shot from TaToH with some of these composite bowmen and killing some Vils from Hera. And TaToH now goes for 2 castles here, too. So TaToH's going to have 3 castles because he has actually had access to stone. Hera can't even repair, if you think about it. He will have Trebs first. Hera will have 2 Trebs out before TaToH has his first. And it's double commitment from TaToH. I mean, TaToH's got 30 or so vills here, guys. It feels like both players are going to lose 20 or 30 vills. But I guess Hera has Navy? So the vills from TaToH can't escape? And Hera's villagers can escape? It's so tricky. I don't know. Yeah, look, TaToH's already looking to evacuate. Nope, that's not happening. That would make me feel really good if I'm Hera. Also, what else would make me feel really good if I'm Hera is just the fact that he's, like, you know, really good at everything. That would be nice to feel for once. But, you know, beyond that, I think killing that transport just tells you that TaToH is going to be stuck here if you win this Treb war. Fourth Treb going to be on the way. And TaToH repairing away. Getting masonry. Wherever he's taking stone, he doesn't have too much stone income. I think TaToH's castles are technically on the hill. So that would mean he also receives less damage. This is nuts. Guys, if you have excess gold, you should be buying stone. The price of stone is going to skyrocket. Can we get some stonks in chat subs? As the stone is just going to fly up. There's no way it doesn't here. On the left side, it's gonna. Hera's gonna sell off everything he can, surely. Just to get some stone. TaToH's gonna do the same. Hera has lost one of his castles. Hera's probably gonna lose the next castle. He still hasn't taken any castles out from TaToH. TaToH is buying the stone. Hera isn't. Over here, Hera just has towers to defend. But he can't push TaToH there. And now, TaToH's taken out his only castle. And Hera's got Lycav with Vikings? Which, there's some of the weakest Lycav in the game, and TaToH continues to buy stone. Neither Civ gets bombard cannons. It's essentially just a Treb war right now. And I think Hera's recognizing he is going to lose this Treb war. He wasn't able to get masonry. And he didn't have a hill with his castles, and he has to fall back. And this is so good for TaToH right now. Because Hera's TCs will go down. And Hera can't make another Treb now. So a lot of time for TaToH to maybe think about other things now. What you might think about if you're TaToH is a few more composite bowmen to really help out. Maybe a rare situation where they make sense because you have more castles than military buildings. And then maybe a few docks sneakily somewhere so you can come onto water. You couldn't do it when you were behind. Now that you're starting to pull ahead in some ways, you might be able to try it. And there it is. There's one. I think he needs to get like 4 until I'm convinced. But that's what TaToH's going to shift to next. 100%. So composite bowmen are super low attack and low HP, but they ignore armor. Which, you know, Hera research +2 armor. That won't be helpful against the composite bowman then, basically. I like this from TaToH. He needs 1 Treb here to take down the towers, and then these vills are kind of in a tough position. And Hera deploying his Trebs against composite bowmen. Guys, I don't know if you think composite bowmen are good or not, but the way they walk, they just feel like they were told to go fight and they don't want to be there. Okay? Regardless of how good or strong they are, they walk, they fire like they don't really want to be doing it. They've just been told to. That's kind of my vibe. They do shoot very straight arrows. I feel like other arrows have more of an arc to it. And Hera's TC will go down over here. Hera, I mean, it just doesn't feel like he's got anything right now. TaToH has just completely brought this game back. It's been sick, it's been methodical, and it's been in a series where, prior to this point, it had been all Hera. Hera just quite simply hit a wall. It's like he felt he had to win the Treb war, and ever since, he's had nothing going well for him. He will try skirms, but skirms are actually not that great against composite bowmen because skirms thrive on their armor. Yeah, these Lycav are just going to disappear. And the skirms are probably going to disappear. And Hera's whole base is going to disappear. And Hera's confidence in this game is going to be disappearing. And he calls the GG. TaToH gets the win. And what a nice job there from TaToH. When you watch a player who has won 2 games in the way that Hera did in game 1 and 2, it's very easy to feel as though it's inevitable. And if you're really a stat nerd like me, and you were watching the resources collected throughout that game, you're also probably thinking, like, oh crap, Hera's collected more, and this looks like this could be a wash. But I think the thing that Hera missed out on this game, like, I genuinely think Hera was in the better position this game, but he was just really late to building the castle, which is a little peculiar to me because I feel as though, I feel as though that dropping that castle is something that most players do immediately when they get the stone for it, but it didn't feel like he knew where he wanted to drop it. And I actually feel like Hera's biggest friend here would have been an outpost. To see a hill nearby and to have all this eco exposed, I think an outpost there so he gets the information that his opponent is there, like TaToH did, and he could drop the castle before TaToH. Like, honestly, right now, in this position, if Hera outposts and castle drops, I think Hera wins this game. Because TaToH got the initiative there, Hera eventually fell off economically. It's funny, I do also recall the Northern Isles game where Leary transported against him, where Hera also got surprised. I feel like maybe if there is a weakness for Hera, it may be maybe he doesn't outpost to get that information quite as quickly as he needs to. Res collected was super close that game. Hera had more food, but he didn't know what to spend it on. And well played, TaToH. We have ourselves a series here. All right. Map with 8 boars on it, and both players pick the Mongols here. They both drafted the Mongols early, and this has to be a must-win for TaToH, I would say. Think about it. You win this one, you've eliminated one of your opponent's first picks, and then it's 2-2, baby. But you lose this, you have to win 3 straight. Feels like a must-win for TaToH if he wants to make it to the finals of Warlords 3. And he is playing as the Mongols, of course, as well as Hera. So now these horses are going to be looking for some blocks if they can on villagers bringing in the boars. Sometimes, if they're both not Mongols, you will see players try and just kind of kill off the extra boars from the enemy and not really take them. But here I think the players are going to be as greedy as possible. Hera sees that TaToH has the horse there and was thinking about it. And TaToH's just waiting. And he's like, okay, if you want to attack me, that's fine. You're not getting that boar. TaToH's just going to camp next to it. Actually, give me a time where you guys think this boar will be taken. Because I think Hera will also not leave this boar. They both see each other. They're like, sup? What are you doing? You here to block villagers? Yeah, I'm here to block villagers. Oh, me too. Cool. And they're just chilling, getting to know each other as villagers just refuse to walk over there. TaToH's still got a boar here. So I don't think there's any big reason to really come over here. Also, the other thing about horses... Oh, never mind. I'm stupid. I thought you could see them in the fog of war, but you can't. So I could have sworn that was the case on Mega Random, but I don't think it's great. So maybe they removed that here for this map. Hera's up already. And here comes Hera now to consider bringing in the boar. A boar that he actually very badly needs because he's soon going to run out of food. He didn't get loom. And TaToH's like, no. I will not allow it. I will not allow it. But now TaToH, with no loom, is going to try it. Oh, God. What are we doing? TaToH, you're crazy, bro. What are you expecting to happen here? Oh, man. This is rough. Well, TaToH's saving the Vill. He saved the Vill somehow. He actually isn't fully running with the villager either. He thinks he can bring this in? You're crazy, TaToH. You're never bringing that boar in. Well played from Hera. And so risky from TaToH, who still isn't clicked up to Feudal Age, by the way. I'm really surprised TaToH tried to do that. And Hera able to find another boar over here. And Hera's just probably... He's laughing now, right? This is great for him. Now, to go up as quick as Hera has is quite risky in some ways because you have less villagers now, right? For now, you do. So if you're not immediately finding a benefit from rushing to the next stage, it could be something that is bad for you. But he has found immediate benefit. He's going to make the stable, and his eco is looking fine. So, great start for Hera with the scouts. Now, TaToH, He doesn't know what Hera is going for, and he needs to use this horse now to scout. If he knows that Hera is opening scouts, he should be able to wall things up. I mean, I say wall it up, but there's still a lot of work to be done. But TaToH really wanted that boar because he is going to try fast castle here. And I wonder if Hera will recognize that. Hera might tower this gold or do something crazy here. You cannot let the fast castle player rest. TaToH won the previous game off of fast castle. Hera sees all the signs that TaToH's going to try this because TaToH is walling everything up right now before the scouts get here. And I love this play from Hera. Especially if TaToH doesn't see it. It is actually the perfect play to counter this. This eco is so fragile for TaToH. This area, so important for TaToH. And TaToH does not see that there is a tower going up behind his wood line. He's looking all around here. He knows the scouts are coming. He's thinking he's fine, but this tower will go up. It will range most of the eco in here, and TaToH's going to have big problems. He's taking a risk here. Obviously, the extra boar would have helped. He just does not see the tower, and Hera's scouts are waiting. And this is the best choice from TaToH, but it's a tough life to be living right now. So what TaToH can do, in theory, is he could pull the weak vills to the very right side. He can complete his own tower. He could then eventually shoot down Hera's tower and push the scouts away. That's what you have to do. He's dead otherwise. But you can't lose many vills on a fast castle, TaToH. You got to keep your vills alive. Oh my god. Wow, that was actually so impressive. Type a 1 in chat if you could just completely just quit, actually. Just, like, we go next game on that one, because it's hard to know what to do. It's still, though, so strong for Hera because the tower is just perfect. And TaToH still hasn't clicked up. TaToH just had to, like, chop the straggler trees to get the wood for a blacksmith, and now he's going to click up. This is exactly what Hera needs to do. You just repair that bad boy. The longer you stay here, the better. Hera's at 26 fills. TaToH's at 21. TaToH's at 30% worker efficiency for the last minute. 65% for the game. Hera's like, this isn't everything for me, dude. I could stay here forever. And the GG's called, and Hera up 3-1. There was an archer here. And there also was another villager that died over here. I think that fast castle was a risk that TaToH felt as we're taking. And Hera just punished it perfectly with that really fast uptime there. And it actually explains the additional boar to me so much more. TaToH needed a little bit more meat there to get away with this strategy. And he needed a little bit of good fortune, and Hera was just all over him here. Hera's showing in this game that he also could be extremely aggressive and counter defensive play on the back of having good defensive play if he needs it as well from the first game. So it was just here's what I think. Here's my take on TaToH's strategy. I actually think TaToH's strategy can work well, what he just did, but it is countered by, you ready for this? The Mongols. I don't think TaToH's strategy is near as strong against another player with the Mongols, because the other player with the Mongols can achieve that ridiculous uptime that Hera got there, the 16 villager feudal age. Other civs can't do that. And so maybe TaToH was hoping the Hera would play Mongols somewhere else. I don't know. But I don't think he would have been surprised. Mongols felt obvious since the start. Hera now 1 win away from a meeting in the grand finals of Warlords 3 tomorrow. So, I was wondering what civilizations we would see picked on this map, because Hera's early pick was Cumans, a civ that TaToH was known for picking a lot, by the way. And then he did pick Bengalis later in the draft. And so it seems as though Hera, he's going to opt for the more economic play here with the Bengalis. And TaToH has gone for the Burgundians. This was TaToH's choice. Now, this was technically Hera's home map, but TaToH did choose to play this. I think he's pretty much out of home maps at this point, or maybe has one remaining. The Burgundians are honestly fantastic. The Bengalis are fantastic. Both of these civs have different eco bonuses. The thing that is not fantastic is that someone thought it would be a great idea to make Arena a desert. So my eyes hurt at the moment. If yours do, I can only apologize on behalf of, Age of Empires fans, but we have a desert arena. There is actually a change. There is one thing which does play a role on the desert version versus the grass version. It is the fact that there are rhinos instead of boars. So it is 120 extra food available for them to use in their build orders. Which, if I had to pick a civ that helps, I would say it helps the Burgundians. Because of, trying to get the eco upgrades a bit earlier, but it's really just not that big a deal. So, yeah, I mean, Burgundians, cheaper eco upgrades, and you can get them an age earlier. TaToH needs to get his wood upgrade here. He's snagging that now. TaToH won't build a single farm without horse color this game. Probably will be the case for Hera, but Hera, if he makes Dark Age farms, will not have that luxury. The big thing for the Burgundians beyond that is the cheap stable upgrades, the strong gunpowder. And that alone is enough to pretty much just win games. Cav and gunpowder and eco. If you have to switch out of that, which may be the case here, they aren't the best skirmisher civilization. They're not the best infantry civilization either, so things get a bit more awkward for them. Now, the Bengalis are a very different economic civ. They get 2 vills out of their TCs when they make it to the next stage. And so a Hera is going to be happy to sit back, relax, and not be pressured at all. But bad news for him is he's up against TaToH. And TaToH, hold on a second. I don't actually think this is pressure from TaToH. So TaToH, I think, is going to rush Castle Age eco upgrades here. Initially, because it's TaToH, he loves to go for towers. I thought it would be towers. I think this is a feudal age eco boom, which most arena players I've spoken to on this seem to think this is worse than a standard boom with the Burgundians for like standard games. But there is one particular thing which this type of eco boom is good at, and it is good for fast imp and lots of map control. I'll explain. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, I'll explain kind of why that is and prove that to you here at some point. I mean, maybe it's just extra food later on. Maybe he plays the rest the same, but Hera might also like freak out a little bit. I mean, he's not going to change any decisions, but he might be a little surprised to see that TaToH is up so fast. But if TaToH doesn't come knocking on his walls, Hera's really not going to change anything, so TaToH goes for Bowsaw, and then he goes for Heavy Plow. So immediately gets the Castle Age eco upgrades. And so his eco will be very strong. I do feel like the Bengalis can kind of keep pace with it, though. Having extra vills is crazy. Think about Hera's civ picks so far. He went for Chinese, extra vills. Easy win. Mayans, extra vill. Kind of up to, technically, but feeling good. Now Bengalis, who knows how many extra vills he's going to get, but he will get a boost. So, someone says you need to address this. This goes at T90 official, you need to address this, and then didn't say what I need to address. How does that help me? What am I addressing? What are we talking about here, chat? Oh, there is a monster. Oh, true. Is this the monster? If you look at the mini-map, it does kind of look... Is this the monster? Or is it like the whole map is a monster? What's the monster? Guys, I told you, if we keep making fun of Arena on stream, the Clown Council will not invite me to their parties anymore. Stop calling Arena a monster. I'm so sorry. Big Arena fans, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I mean, the mini-map it's something. Yeah, it's a... Oh, wait. No, I know what it is. Guys, it's the koala map. Look at the mini-map and look at TaToH's base. It is a koala with you know, he's been punched in the face a couple times. His jaw looks a bit weird. It is a koala. You see it? You see it? What? No one sees it? Someone said they saw a gnome. You saw a garden gnome in the desert? How'd you not see it? It's a koala. It is a koala, clearly. It's a koala who's very fat with a weird mermaid tail. Well, actually, I've never seen a mermaid like that. Never mind. Guys, there's nothing else for me to talk about, all right? So we're just having fun. This is arena after all, and the scouts are going to go past each other in the middle. And Hera and TaToH both know the scout is extremely valuable. Neither player wants to lose it. And TaToH is going to click up, but I think Hera's eco will be superior here. Like, I'll tell you, what I don't like about the decision to go for the feudal boom is that your scouts are out a bit later, which allows Hera to get some relics. And Hera's got this relic close by. He's got this relic closer to him and this relic closer to him. So the relic situation is amazing for Hera. I think economically, this is going to end up being pretty even for these two. And they're going to boom. Omni Shambles says, T90, my wife walked in as you were starting to talk about the map, and now she thinks this is what I watch. I mean, come on. She knew what she was getting into. She knew you were a koala map guy, all right? She won't admit it to you for your ego, but she knew. She's not surprised. Spearman, the real MVP right now. He's actually hit every single scout. And Hera could always heal these up, but still, that's pretty good for TaToH, and TaToH's going to add more scouts. So, you know what should be insane for TaToH is actually his wood count. Because he won't have to reseed farms for a very long time. Maybe until Imp. And he's not really spending wood on anything else at this point. So I think TaToH might actually... Maybe he has the eco for a 4 TC boom. Does TaToH go for the Imp wood upgrade here, guys? You can do it. It takes forever to research. A lot of people don't do it in these instances. I'm actually going to vote no because I think he deletes this lumber camp and places a TC there. I think he's just going to use the resources elsewhere. Let's see. TaToH's up. He goes for the monastery. He goes for a TC, and we'll see. Hera comes home and heals up all those scouts. The scouts are only slightly traumatized. Someone said this map is a Geodude flexing. Maybe. Wouldn't be the first time we've had a Geodude map on Arena. We'll have monks out to get the relics, but Hera snagging the first relic pretty easily here. Hera has more villagers than TaToH. The resources collected is dead even. And Hera also has more scouts right now. It doesn't hesitate there in that attack. Hera's really smart. If he can get home as well with this weak scout, it'd be amazing value for him. And he's just like, come on, TaToH, fight me. And TaToH going for the third TC now. I do wonder if TaToH has had some benefit to this build. I'm really not sure. But I don't think it's necessarily hurt him massively, right? I don't think there's a big difference in how things play out. But I mean, every time it seems like Hera's bringing back these weak scouts to heal up here, which is so valuable on Arena. And now he drops TC number 3. So, Bengalis have a unit which is so incredibly strong that I feel if you get to 40 of them with full upgrades, there's not really much that in the game that can counter it. And that is the Elephant Archer. It is not the typical Hera type of unit, though. It is a unit that is very anti-Hera. It is very slow. It is very expensive. Typically, he's going for fast and cheap, at least for, you know, the early goings. I think that Hera should consider Elephant Archer, but there is always a risk to have that be the first thing you open with. So I could always see, like, Halb as the opening, and then maybe Elephant Archer. But if you're TaToH, that is what you're scared of. It is Elephant Archer. Nice fights here from TaToH. He's kept it so Hera can't get the relics. And TaToH swoops in. I don't know where Hera was going. I don't know what he was looking at. But Hera loses his monks here. And actually, he might not mind it, though, if he kills TaToH's light cap. TaToH's going to run away now. Here comes that spearman again. What is happening here? Little ring around the rosy action. I liked what TaToH did with the initial engagement. He wasn't able to kill the monks as fast as he would have liked. But him sticking around was a little bit of a surprise. You got to remember, guys, like, that is probably just him looking away for a second. And he's getting howls now. He's got to fix that. But he probably is just adding farms. The spearman's going to die to Hera, not the lion. And that lion now has a taste for spearmen. And that lion really enjoyed spearmen. So that lion's going to feast on this guy now. Man, really rude of this buddy's, friend to die right next to him. If you're going to die far away. And Hera steals another kill from the lion. 2 relics for Hera. And Lykev upgrade now for Hera, which he hasn't had this whole time. And you can tell Hera's villager lead is paid off. He's collected more resources. His farming eco looks perfect with 32. TaToH on 32, though. But Hera brought in a little bit more from relics. And brought in more, seemingly, from just having the villagers faster than TaToH has here. Also getting handcart super early here, too. Still 2-1 on relics. This monk, kind of, taking some risks there. Oh, God, and Hera's trying to hide. Oh, what was that? What was that? He tossed it over the trees. I guess the relic wouldn't drop there. Now, Hera knows where that relic is, as does TaToH now. And there was this relic. And this monk died as well. Nice job from TaToH to kill Hera's monks over the last few moments. Honestly, it might take quite some investment for these guys to get these relics at this point. Both players are going to continue to make light cap. Both players going to go for it. Hera... Oof. Really fortunate there. Would have probably lost the fight. He's going over here to get this one. He's tracking to see if TaToH is over here. Doesn't see TaToH at all. And now he's looking to see if TaToH is getting this relic. So this guy's the sniper. And he noticed it. He definitely noticed that moving this direction. And, well, there he goes. TaToH trying to block. Whoa, sorry about that. That was a misclick. That must have been awful to look at. And monk goes down. But it's a little bit closer to TaToH's base. So that is a, small positive there for TaToH. And now the same thing's going to happen here as Hera's headed this direction. TaToH actually not noticing just yet. You could definitely see tiny differences between these two in terms of how they're able to pay attention to where the relics are. But Hera's going to lose another monk. Nice job, TaToH. So Hera is up. He's clicked up. He will get 2 vills from each CC when he makes it to the next stage. Again, such a strong pick here, the Bengalis. But I'm not sure what he's going to attempt to take map control with, honestly. And that's a lot of investment from TaToH here with the forging upgrade. Hera just sneaking in with this monk. That'll be relic number 3. And Hera... And I personally would really like some, maybe the Halb upgrade, but maybe he just thinks that just makes it easier for TaToH to go hand cannons, and Hera just snipes a monk. And TaToH will see archer ranges now from Hera, who is really playing with fire. The amount of times he's leaving his base when TaToH's got light cap by is crazy. He's one mistake away from losing all of his monks and all those vills there because he doesn't have loom yet. Again, TaToH wants through, but Hera wants conversions, and Hera too close to the walls for TaToH to be comfortable. TaToH will leave his base for a forward castle or maybe a middle castle. We'll see how aggressive he wants to get with it. He's going to drop ranges thinking about skirms because he's scared of... Well, Hera's making archers. Bengalis do get Arbalest, but I think if you're going to make any unit with the Bengalis, it probably should be Elephant Archer. Hera certainly has the food for that, but Hera is going to go archers. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that one. TaToH's holding map control. TaToH will be okay. These villagers don't have loom. They will have loom here in just a second. And Hera won't be able to push this castle too easily. He also did catch a glimpse of the castle and will be building his own castle in his walls here. I like the fights over the last few moments for TaToH. I also love, as silly as it looks, how Hera just continues to run by the walls, getting free damage over the walls with his crossbows. But, like, Bengalis do get Arbalest, and Arbalest is a strong unit, yeah. But, like, skirms are fine against that. The issue with Elephant Archer, I feel, is that Elephant Archers just get so strong that even skirms can't kill them. So, it really feels to me like TaToH's in a pretty nice position to take this game compared to where I thought it was going. And 3-2 on relics will be the count, assuming TaToH comes out to get this one. And upgrades flying in for TaToH right now. Now, Hera, guys, what he's looking for there may be an opportunity to kill a monk. But he saw the castle didn't actually have, that the castle did have ranged upgrades. So now he knows that his opponent will go skirm because he saw the +2 attack on the castle, which obviously applies to the skirms as well. Hera, re-wall this, dude. Re-wall that. That could be such an issue. It's funny, though, because TaToH never saw it, and TaToH would never assume there's a hole there, but he deleted that earlier. Actually, if TaToH runs through, Hera could also trap him, to be honest. Just build a house and delete a house and build a market. That's just kind of how we think these days. TaToH's going for Paladin. Paladin with skirms. I love it. And I love it because it's like, it's cheap. You don't have the eco to really rely on Paladins right now, but you just want to get that upgrade in because it takes time. And here go the skirms here from TaToH. Doesn't have the armor, that he'll need yet. But he doesn't get the final armor, which is the weakness. Guys, do Bengalis get thumb ring? Let's see. Bengalis. No thumb ring. No thumb ring Arbalest? What? Arena players must be losing their freaking minds right now. I am very surprised. But Hera, usually, you know, you're looking towards standard units with him, right? And maybe he felt Elephant Archer is too expensive here. TaToH will have Paladin production. He will have Bombard Cannons as a possibility. And Bombard Cannons will be produced out of this Siege Workshop right away. Nice job from TaToH. This game is close. Both players will want the extra stones and golds outside the map, but for Hera, he can't really take his right now because it is right next to TaToH's castle and where this battle is about to go down. I personally feel as though the army composition for Hera, it's more cost-effective, but I don't know if it's going to be as strong as Paladin Skirm. Paladin Skirm with Bombard Cannons seems really, really good. TaToH seems to recognize that he needs protection for his Bombard Cannons here, guys. You see this? He's trying to make walls so he can hit... so he can hit the Trebs. And then Hera comes out. Hera comes out with the Arbs, realizing what was happening there. That is sick. TaToH doesn't want those light calves sniping his Trebs. But Hera is just, like, gonna lurk around anyways. And TaToH will lose this castle. Hera has not seen his opponent has a single Paladin. But TaToH will only have 15 of them. And this is where it's time for TaToH to reveal he has Paladin. And Hera's like, oh, Paladin! I didn't tech Halb yet. Needs to think about it. Needs to think about it, in my opinion. And TaToH needs to up his production here. And he needs to engage with the Paladins on the front, ideally. He needs to save his Treb as well. Bengalis do have fully upgraded light cav. So they're okay, but they're not as tanky as Paladins, that's for sure. Big fight. Big fight. TaToH is focusing down a lot of these arbs. The bomber cannons as well are killing the arbs. Hera's just getting completely smashed here. I mean, at first glance, it seems like TaToH should win this fight because he's got Paladin. Hera, he might kill the bomber cannons, but he will lose most of his trebs. Yeah, he'll lose all of his trebs. And I don't know, maybe it's a big reset, right? Both players took some losses. Both players lost a lot of gold units there, and TaToH backing away. That was an interesting fight. I'm looking at that fight thinking Paladin Skirm wins every time. Maybe there weren't enough Paladins. I don't actually fully understand how Hera won that fight. He does have a lot more production behind here. And that's what I said. I think that's going to be the big thing for Hera, is just the fact that he can afford to make more. It is true. TaToH didn't have his attack upgrades on the Paladins. So maybe we were expecting a bit more damage there because we're used to the +4 attack. I don't consider no bloodlines to be a big issue in that fight. No bloodlines in general with Burgundian Paladins against other Paladins, of course, an issue. But you're still talking 160 HP versus 80 HP and 14 base attack versus 7. Like, Paladins should own here. And I'm really surprised that Hera still hasn't at least clicked the Halb upgrade to be prepared. Is adding more monks, though. And last time he converted a couple Paladins, which certainly played a role. And TaToH taking some gold on the right side. And big fight here. I mean, look at the HP difference. Like, TaToH's Paladins have the same amount of HP as the rest of Hera's army right now. That's just the reality of it. Maybe Hera will go for battle elephants. Can he bank up enough resources and go for battle elephants? TaToH's got to go for iron casting and blast furnace here. He's missing out on +3 attack that he could have. He is mixing in hussars to try and save some gold. Hera's done a great job to always have some Lycav in front of these arbs. These arbs have gotten some good value this game. 8 kills. When I said they got good value, I expected a higher number there. He did lose a lot of arbs and had to make new ones. Mahayana on the way. So Hera will free up a bit more pop space. What is it? I think 10% of his villager pop space is freed up for army now. That's a good tech for him. And here, the Lycav will kill TaToH's villagers. TaToH could never expect to be here for too long. TaToH's got 35 paladins. 35 paladins should win, right? That's what my game sense is telling me. And TaToH is trying to get a surround here on the arbs. Hera's monks, hoping for conversions. But he has to hop back inside the castle, and now he's outside the castle again, but the hussars are on the way, and the paladins are still killing. And it's ring around the rosy for TaToH, so the monks can't attack, and Hera just needs help. He needs a unit here that can actually deal with this. Bengalis, get help. He maybe thought it was going to be monk, and TaToH has not allowed those monks to really do a lot as paladins run into the back of Hera's eco. Hera's playing this an awfully lot of, like, Arabia right now with his army composition. You know, the Lycav usually he used to raid. The Arbalest is the main mass, sorry, but I guess monks, his answer for the cap instead of man, words are hard for me right now. Instead of Halb. But I would still like to see, as TaToH deletes a couple units here for pop space, I would still really like to see Hera go for Halb or Elephant Archer, one or the other, and there he drops the barracks. Also, TaToH probably just had a moment where he said, oh crap, I haven't had +4 attack. Okay, that explains some things. He's getting that now. TaToH can take this fight. That's not that big a deal. Even if he loses the fight, it's just hussars. He can make more of them, but backs away for now. TaToH has siege this time. If he had siege last time, Hera might have lost the castle. And now that iron casting is in, there's not enough hussars to snipe those monks, though. Notice how much respect those monks command. And I would just be so scared right now if I were both players that they just take a bad fight. It feels like one misplay and you lose everything. This is crazy. God, monks are so annoying. Hera's controlling those monks perfectly. He's also gotten in here with his Lycav to snipe the bomber cannons, but he's going to lose his Treb. And there's still paladins on top of his monks right now, so I think he will lose a decent amount of his monks. TaToH killing the monks, pushing back, still has siege, has hand cannons with his paladins now. And TaToH wants to push this castle down. Hera's castle could be in big trouble. I'm just... the army comp and the value for TaToH's army has always felt stronger to me this whole time. We haven't seen elephants. We haven't seen Halb. And now if Halb comes out, TaToH's got the hand cannons. He's prepared for this. Look at this. He's bringing 4 trebs. He's bringing 3 bombard cannons. Perfect play from TaToH. His hand cannons are always in position. Hera trying to surround now. What a fight, dude. Hera's Lycav getting some ridiculous value. Sniping some trebs and sniping some cannons. But the fight continues. And the key for TaToH is that he still has siege out here, right? That's why you show up with the proper amount of trebs. So you're always going to have trebs attacking your opponent here. Halbs are out now for Hera. He's sniping some of the cannons. TaToH's trebs aren't actually hitting the castle. It's a bad day to be a freaking horse, man. Paladins and Lycav sent to their deaths. Hussars now for TaToH. He might run out of gold soon. We have to remember. Like, if TaToH runs out of gold, Hera's composition will be so much better in the long run. And hand cannons are costly too. Hera doesn't have repairs coming in yet. He's starting to repair his castle. He cannot kill these paladins right now. He does not have the answer to the paladins. Look at all this eco on the front for Hera. It will all die if this castle goes down. These trebs are doing it. The hand cannons still protecting the trebs. Will Hera get one more? Looks like Hera will not get that treb. And TaToH is diving. TaToH is not finished yet. His army is so much stronger. And Hera, he has eco here. It's not like it's just his castles. He's got all of his eco here. He'll be raided everywhere. TaToH's actually taking this gold from him too. And I don't know if Hera has a lot left, guys. We were kind of wondering, like, will Hera go for that crazy Bengali composition? Will he try and go for some really expensive units here? He took the cost-effective approach. And the cost-effective approach is not working for him right now. His population goes back up somehow to 170, which is ridiculous. But if TaToH sees this castle, he will likely just shift his focus directly to that castle with his trebs. I will say this. Hera, Hera's also getting raided down here by 2 paladins. I will say this. Hera didn't have a lot of halbs before. He is getting up to 30 now. So actually, what I think is important now for TaToH is maybe to make a few more skirms. Could mix in skirms with his hand cannons and he'll feel like he's in a better position. But this castle from TaToH protects his trebs. Hera's castle will fall. And TaToH will have the gold and the stones available in the middle of the map. Hera is down to 1 on gold. 1 on gold, and of course there's 3 relics there. TaToH can get back to this gold. TaToH can come over to this gold. There's still 3,500 gold remaining. That can go a long way. Hera won't have the gold to push the castles. He doesn't actually have the gold to make siege right now. And TaToH may even notice this. Hera chopping wood outside of his base instead of the monster area, as people called it. And if TaToH sees that, those villas are going to start dying. So TaToH has what feels like endless gold at this stage to have 4,000. And he's got full map control here. And it's on him to push Hera now and finally finish this guy off. Take us to a game number 6. What a fight from TaToH, man. I mean, the first 2 games were brutal. Let's be honest. It just wasn't good. Hera looked so good. The draft, which is normally such a masterpiece for TaToH, at least on paper after watching some of the games, didn't look like it was panning out as he would have wanted. Hera's losing vills, but he is trebbing this castle. TaToH needs to try and use his trebs against that treb there. TaToH's killed 65 vills this game. Whoop! And the GG's called. Hera's like, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. Let's try and finish this guy off in the next game. TaToH takes the arena game. Remember, this was a home map for Hera, right? Hera also picked humans and Bengalis, which I thought were both potential arena picks. So arguably, maybe one of the civilizations remaining for Hera isn't something that he could necessarily utilize. And TaToH is not done yet. Well played from him here. I do wonder, when you think about some of those fights, how things would have gone if maybe Hera had a few more halbs in the mix. It looks like resources were not necessarily an issue. Certainly collected more wood. But I think we saw right there what the Burgundians are really good at. And the Burgundians are incredibly good with the early Paladin and the bombard cannons. And then, like, after that, TaToH, of course, just flexed into kind of just pushing. The favorite thing that TaToH did this game, he didn't trickle trap. Because he lost a lot of siege. But what Hera would have loved to continue to do is just sniping the individual trebs and the individual bombard cannons. But when TaToH finally took down this castle, he waited till he had 4 trebs. He waited till he had a bunch of cannons. And as I always preach in our Loey the Legend cast, right? They'll take some of your siege, but they won't take all of it. They will have to engage and thus probably lose the engagement out of a panic, and their castle will still fall. And that's pretty much what won TaToH the game. Because at this point, he can just kind of pick Hera apart, having the castle advantage there in the middle. I do find the way Hera played Bengalis, the Civ, like all the options the civilization has, I do find it surprising that he didn't try and go for elephant archers. I think they're very strong. Not saying it would have worked, but I would have liked to seen that. And that's typically what you see from Bengalis on Arena. All right, so we just talked about it before we came in, but to repeat it for YouTube later on, Hera's home map here is Spiral. This is his last home map, and he has gone for the Cumans. And on Spiral, we have seen Cumans dominate before, but there's a little bit of a risk if you want to build the second TC in Feudal on the berries and the deer, because it can be quite far away. It's not too far away here for Hera, but it's not directly next to him. And of course, it's not directly next to TaToH either. TaToH, I don't think, will necessarily care, as he will not be planning for a TC here, at least in the early stages. But listen, that's the big thing with the Cumans. And TaToH's kind of known for it. I thought that Hera picked the Cumans because he thought that he could, like, counter-pick it or steal it from TaToH. But he has picked it, and he is going to play it here. If you don't go for the second town center in the Feudal Age with the Cumans, you don't really have an economic bonus. You do have the bonus of having cheap stables and cheap archery ranges. And really good stable units, which Hera, of course, is really good with, which is fine. But it is also not so fine if there's Berbers on the other side for TaToH, as they have cheaper stable units. So it's just this superior stable civilization, in my opinion. TaToH will drop the dock here on his water, and Hera will do the same. Hera's dock position is actually amazing. I remember when we worked this map into TTL, I was wondering if it was possible to, like, switch these fish positions, because sometimes the fish can be somewhat far, but I think it is just a level of variance you have to expect. TaToH actually has faster fish. Kind of forgot about that. Berbers actually have faster ships, so he could venture out to the risky fish just fine. Now, forward dock, like docking here or docking even just here, very strong here. And we've seen it a lot, so players need to keep a very close eye on that. And then you have 2 tiles of gold and stone next to your TC, and eventually you need to move. You need to skedaddle, move over, and take the other resources here. Hera going to push, I think, deer number 2. Yep, can't help himself, pushing deer number 2 from the berries. And actually, I noticed that, I don't know if it's always like this, guys, but you notice the deer is like, it's 2, and then it's 5. I always thought it was one big group that would hang out around the berries. Seems like that's not the case here, and Hera might never find these over here. So if anything, if he were to drop the town center, it would probably be on the berries. I think that TaToH's civilization is superior for Game 7, guys. TaToH will have his home map, and at least on paper, a better civilization for Game 7. If TaToH wins this game, we'll have ourselves a banger of a Game 7. After the first 2 games, so many people were just like, oh, man. Oh, man, this feels like it's going to be a 4-0. But such a good job from TaToH to not allow that to be the case and show some fight here, right? Also, shows the importance of having a really fast start, right? Like, Hera getting those 2 wins is so helpful, like, so good to have them in the bank before things start to get crazy in this series. Hera, are we really doing this, dude? Are we really doing this? No scouting intel on the opponent? No scouting intel. You want that extra deer. You've got a cow. You've got some sheep. You're not going to scout. I know, like, if you were coaching, you would say, find out what the opponent's doing. What is this? Just pushing in that deer. I mean, the expectation here is he needs greed because he's going for the TC. Yeah. I didn't think he'd actually try it. He's going to do it. That explains it, actually. He is going for the TC. Yep. Yep. Don't need to scout your opponent's military if your goal is no military and greed with the TC. And he does go for TC number 2. Now, TaToH is going to be like, okay, where is that thing? Can I find it? And TaToH's going for stable right now. TaToH also did not really scout his opponent too much. I think a good strategy against this, and I think Hera believes the same, is actually to kill their fish. And Hera initially was making a fire, you'll notice, because he thought for sure that TaToH was there, saw that TaToH wasn't there, and canceled the fire. And TaToH should see the barracks and know that means that Hera's building a TC, and now he sees the second TC. Okay. So what do you do now in TaToH's position? Well, against the humans, you have to kill them in Castle Age. It's impossible to kill them in Feudal. Hera is going to gain this ridiculous economy, and with how fast he's going to seed farms here, there's no way to catch up in that regard. What you need to do from this point forward is stall out your production if you're TaToH, and you have to think about Castle Age. He actually chooses to make a mill in the middle there, which is very satisfying, but it's also rare because villagers can get stuck, and he walls in his vills. Wow. Okay. Still has sheep. Probably could consider farming a lot. And sometimes you'll see players opt for a market in these positions just so they could get their way to the next stage a little bit faster. Hera, though, is also going to drop a stable. So Hera's not going to allow TaToH to just sit back and not, you know, and head towards Castle Age. This is pretty crazy. To go scouts and also go 2 TCs, it gives Hera tons of potential with this strategy. And TaToH has Turks on Grapple. I think Turks are insane there with 60,000 gold on the map. Hello, farm. And I really do think Hera needs to win this one. And TaToH still has not clicked up to the next stage. Won't for a while. And we'll see Hera's making scouts now, so it needs to make defensive army as well. So, players will engage. TaToH may be forced to make more army in Feudal, but ultimately he's kind of thinking about knights here. Human scouts are a little bit faster. So Hera might actually be able to get a few more hits, but TaToH should back away. And Hera, gonna stop at 3 scouts here, I think. I mean, if you see that TaToH's open, then sure, make more scouts, but he did see that TaToH's walled up a decent amount here. Last tip for Hera, he has Italians, which I think have a really good late game. And are good on any map with water, which the next map has. And then also Khmer, which honestly have an insane late game too. I don't think TaToH's Fire Galley is pointless. I think it just makes life a little bit easier for him. Like, losing any eco at this stage is going to feel really bad when you know Hera's got a massive Vil lead over you. So, I like the addition from TaToH there. But I love the eco from Hera. And it's not like Hera isn't thinking about Castle Age soon. Like, Hera's resources are actually looking pretty good for Castle Age. Guys, TaToH's on stone. So TaToH might actually try and castle drop Hera. Or maybe go for Camel Archer. Camel Archer could be a really good unit against the humans in the long run. Hera Takes a hit there from the spear. And both players just micring. But Hera is... Right now, he's 300 resources collected ahead. He's going to be 1,000. And this is not an exaggeration. He will be 1,000 resources collected ahead. No doubt in my mind. It's just the Cumans thing for you. 19 farms against 7. I think TaToH is not able to kill this. But he doesn't have to. He has to defend from it now. He has to shift his thinking. And he has to try and catch up with the villager count, which will probably be at least the second TC. But then also not die to whatever army Hera sends in, which I believe will mean castle at home or camel archers. The map is too expansive. Hera is too far away. And Hera is in too good a spot for you to be able to go forward with anything. Hera would kill that. It would look really bad. So the only thing you can do is think now about the late game. And think, are the Berbers better than the Cumans in the late game? And I think, in many ways, yes. I think the Camel Archer is just not a unit that the Cumans have an answer to. But I think the timing is critical for TaToH. I think he needs the second TC. And then he needs the castle because you are just so far behind right now. You need to somehow... Like, make sure you don't fall too far behind. And also, maybe switch which bush you're taking with these villagers. I think Hera, with no information here, might choose to go aggressive. I think these vills maybe need to run. Like, these vills need to leave, man. Unless they're going to help build the castle. Maybe... Okay, I think TaToH builds the castle right away. And then when he gets the next 100 stone, he builds the TC. Let's see. Castle... And then you'll see villagers go build a TC somewhere. I personally would like down here. It may actually be in the middle. Yeah, actually, it feels pretty realistic he might make it in the middle. I like the castle spot. This is where Hera would likely pressure him. And Hera will see that now. And Hera's going to be like, So I think Hera might just have to out-boom him and try and pressure all the sides now. You could tell him he's scouting now to see the golds and see the stones here. And, ooh, TaToH TC's there. Okay. And Hera's going to add some step lancers now. And he goes for TC number 3 and TC number 4. I mean, why not? Why not? Like, your eco's just flying with the Cumans, man. Like... This Civ is insane if you can 2TC boom. It is so solid. And it feels like a really good situation for it. And Hera's really made everything flow nicely here. Like, you know, like I think of 2 of the games Hera already won. And it felt like, while granted, it wasn't as simple as just, you know, just booming, right? Of course, it was Land Madness in Arabia. But it was just like Hera's eco was so ahead, it felt impossible for TaToH no matter what he did. And now, right now, I'm looking at this, and I'm feeling like TaToH's going to have to be extremely creative. But if the engagements are good, right? If the Camel Archer is good enough, the thinking is TaToH's just going to kill everything. TaToH has to be really careful wandering around with random villagers like this. Hera sees the TC. Hera pokes down the ship. Not a big deal for TaToH. He's not really fishing anymore. And TaToH's Camel Archers are moving forward. They're a little slower than the Step Lancers, but they do have Bodkin Arrow. And TaToH, he needs to maintain his mass. 44 villagers for TaToH, 71 for Hera, and Hera's has doubled the town centers. Camel Archers will kill this spear. Say goodbye. That's our 5th kill of the game, but that's 6, and that's 7. And well played from Hera to just poke with the Step Lancers. Perfect raiding unit. Perfect raiding unit. I don't think he was ever intending to making these forever, but it's just a really good unit for moments like that. So much more difficult to defend from Step Lancers than it is for a couple light cap. And for every, like, villager that TaToH lost there, Hera created 4. 80 villagers against 47 now. But Hera's not on stone yet. He still does not have an answer for the camel archers. And while I think in some ways the answer could just be make worse units and send it at the opponent, if it gets to enough, it can get really dangerous. I don't know how many people here saw when Winchester came back against ACCM, down 25 Vils because of the Camel Archer. It was pretty incredible. At Step Lancers, they can take good engagements, but they lack armor. The Hera trying to micro them and researching armor right now, but TaToH's going to be up to 10 Camel Archers. Hera still not on stone. I think what he'll want is a castle in a position so he could treb easily. He's getting +2 armor now. TaToH getting ballistics. TaToH really needs husbandry, man. Husbandry is so necessary when you're using a Cav Archer style unit so you can run away from the Cav. I don't think he has that yet. And oh man, this is a dangerous spot when there's Step Lancers around. Wandering too far into the opponent's base could be seen as a risk. Oh, man. Hera trying to trap here. He made a market foundation. Villager's dead. TaToH, he doesn't have husbandry. Or maybe he does. Humans do have faster cav. Hera's going to trap. Hera's going to drop buildings. Camel Archers have ventured too far. Oh, no. And just as TaToH is trying to get bloodlines, the Step Lancers completely surround the camels. And all the Camel Archers die. TaToH needed those Camel Archers. He needed that mass. He needed to get up to 15, 16. He needed them together. But he also needed to kill Hera because Hera's so far ahead of him right now. And so that's why it's difficult for me to know what to suggest to TaToH there. Because you have to go kill Hera's eco. Otherwise you die. Or you... Yeah, and if you try it, that happens. And now Hera just stalls out all production for a second and clicks up to Imp. We will actually see. It feels natural for Hera to actually continue with Step Lancers and to go for Elite Stamel Art. Elite Step Lancer. I just said Stamel Archer. I think I combined Camel Archer and Step Lancer in my brain. Now Hera loves to go for Hussar. It doesn't cost gold. You could still raid TaToH and it could still be extremely efficient. But maybe a situation where you just continue with the Step Lancers and go for Elite. I mean, to be an Imp this much faster, he's almost at 10,000 more resources collected. It just really feels like Hera won a lot of these games with picking the civilizations that were just perfect for his economic style. I think of Chinese on Land Madness. I think of this one, right? It just made it look so smooth. Just boom. Just boom, 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 boom. And TaToH, he needs something. There is a camel attacking villagers. So that at least, you know, slows down Hera from taking more gold for a second. Camel Archers over here sitting on the gold. Hera low on gold at the moment, actually. Camels from TaToH and Camel Archers. That's a good unit against everything that Hera's making right now. But can Hera get upgrades and numbers that TaToH cannot compete with right now? TaToH will try and drop another TC over here. That will be his 4th TC. But when he sees Hera hit Imp, he's going to be like, what? Huh? Well, maybe not, because TaToH understands how good the humans are. He's done it himself so many times, and TaToH doesn't even wait around to find out. TaToH knows that means he's dead. And Hera wins the second semifinal. And Hera will move on to the finals, which will be against the Viper. Honestly, both players who will be in the finals have played incredible so far this tourney. For Hera, we got to see again how hard he is to kill. There were so many of these games where it felt like TaToH couldn't do anything, right? Whereas when Hera would lose, he was always able to remain competitive pretty much throughout the whole game. Really well played from Hera. And Viper Hera finals. I mean, we've seen a lot of it over the last few years. Viper performing maybe higher level than I've seen from him in the last year or two. Hera, still super clean and consistent. We'll see how that goes. Final, of course, for those watching live, be tomorrow. For those that are watching, you know, with videos and whatnot, that will, of course, be like maybe in 12 hours or a day or something like that. But yeah, Hera collected 10,000 more resources. I don't know what TaToH can do against this. I do not know. Humans felt way too strong there. Chinese felt way too strong on land madness. And when Hera just won on standard land maps, it just felt like a cheat code in most of the games. So it's really hard for me to look at this with TaToH and say, hey, you know, try this or that. It really did feel like Hera just played the situations well. And maybe if TaToH could stack one more win in some of the earlier games, then in game number 7, he would have a civilization that we felt would be stronger going into game number 7. So GG. And well played there. TaToH, of course, at a crazy run, another top 4 finish. Congratulations there. But always felt like Hera was going to win today.